What's up, witches? It's the Zen Witch here with another unboxing and feeling so much better. After Boxing Day or starting on Boxing Day, I have been just deeply resting and I am feeling so much better. And, realizing that even though we didn't have the normal stress of the holidays because we didn't do as much as far as, decorating and all that kind of stuff, the holidays were possibly even more stressful than they usually are because of the stress of not being able to get together with family and, just the stress of the whole abnormality of everything. But listening to my body, and she just wanted to sleep her ass off for the last several days, and I've done that. Just, lying around and sleeping, and today I really feel like something's coming back. So, hooray! The sun is coming back, the light's returning, and so is my energy. I'm so happy. Today, for your Oracle unboxing, we are looking at Tree Magic by Jillian Kemp. And I've done at least one other deck by her. It was the Fairy, I think it was called Fairy Wisdom, or Wisdom of the Fairies or something like that. But more of a deck made for kids, really. So let's take a look at this one. Tree Magic, 52 magical messages for inspiration, protection, and prediction. So she is saying this is for prediction. Oh, I've got the thing upside down. Drive me crazy. Anyway. This was $15 when I got it. I'm looking to see Sterling Publishing, 52 magical messages drawn from the world of trees. Trees are spiritual guardians of ancient wisdom and possess legendary powers of healing and insight. As intermediaries between heaven and earth, they can convey messages from both realms. Enchanting to look at and inspirational to use, this Tree Magic boxed set includes 52 beautifully illustrated cards and an accompanying book that provides interpretations for all the cards and describes how to lay them out for a reading. Use the messages you receive as affirmations for meditation and protection and to predict the future. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think there were like 3 decks. I think there was a mermaid one that was Jillian Kemp as well. I will link them. I will link at least one of them at the end of the video and the other one down below. Or I might use a different end screen this time so I can link 2. Okay, here we go. Here's the book. Let's look for the copyright. Sterling Publishing, 2004. All right, and this is the first printing. So they are obviously meant to be read directionally, so that tells me no reverses just by the way the backs are. The book might tell us something different, but let's go with that. Okay. Number 1, the Tree of Heaven, Aspiration. So you see on each card we have an image of a tree, and then we have, there's like keywords and a little phrase weaving its way. And this one says aim high. So the one keyword is aspiration. Aim high. Gifts of heaven will be granted to you. Dream, plan, and believe. Number 2 is the cedar tree, duration. And up at the top it says tree of life. Okay, wait a minute. Interesting. Okay, so the tree of heaven doesn't say tree of life across here, but the next several do. Okay, so this one says Tree of Life, and down here it says evergreen durability, enduring perseverance, bring your wishes to fulfillment. Okay, wait a minute. It's difficult because the sentence goes here and then way down here. Evergreen durability, enduring perseverance, and limitless light, bring your wishes to fulfillment. Okay, so, it seems like there's enough information on each card to actually just get a reading from the card and not have to look it up. Next one, Baobab, and that also says Tree of Life. It's resourcefulness. Your thirst for knowledge will be answered by mystic thoughts in your subconscious. The Ash Tree also says Tree of Life. And so we do have, even though they are semi-whimsical art style, there is an accurate representation of what the tree looks like. Look at the baobab with the blossoms on it. Oh, do me a thing. Here we go. Oh, Look at the leaves. They have writing on them. Your thirst for knowledge. Okay. Interesting. So we have, I'm looking at the leaves on this tree, and they have writing on them as well. From the innermost center of your psyche, your good influence radiates far, spreading life. The ash tree is influence. The holly tree, permanence. That does not say tree of life. A great awakening through enlightenment. Evil is warded off by your devotion to good. And these leaves also have print on them. So she's collaged. It's a multimedia. You know, there's drawing, and then there's collaging with the leaves. Interesting. The oak tree, strength. Strength grows through time, bringing the reward of honesty, living up to your great expectations. And I'm thinking I'm not going to have time to read every one of these, but we will see. The willow tree is wisdom. Wisdom and progress develop without rest, like a tree springing upward from its roots in the earth. Silver birch, one of my favorite trees. Like wood that grows upward by drawing strength from its hidden root, love will advance. All these kind of sinuous lines here are sort of. The pear tree, good relationships. All right, let's just move on from here. The damson tree, rewards. The promise of future success brings fruitful pleasure and happiness. I've never heard of a damson tree. So clearly, especially with the baobab, we see that we have trees from all over the world. This isn't like a particular northern forest set. The apple tree, romantic love. The dove tree, blessings. I'll pull them up a little bit closer for you. The dove tree, I've never heard of a dove tree either. So, you know, what we're going to be looking at in the book is to see, are any of these mythical in any way? The olive tree is peace. On reflection, heaven sends a message of wisdom, restored to peace, faith, hope, and love, harmony prevails. The beech tree, vitality, another one of my very favorites. We have such grand beech trees in our woods. And by the way, one of the things that's been happening over this holiday season is my neighbors that live up at the top of the hill there, we're at the bottom of the ravine, they own the woods between us and them, but their property line ends on that side, and I mean they're surrounded by woods. The woods on that side are being clear cut. They're having to sit and watch every day as these trees are being clear cut for timber. It's brutal and tragic. The beech tree, the rowan tree, attraction. And beech tree is vitality. Rowan tree is attraction. The pomegranate tree, wealth. Complete harmony in the oneness of the universe attracts love in romance, family, and acquaintances. Attracts love in romance, family, and acquaintances. So wealth, they're equating wealth with the love that's around you. Interesting. The laurel tree, victory. There is no crowning glory of achievement without first being victorious over inner conflict. That's a really good meaning there. The palm tree is success. The tree of paradise bears the fruit of eternal wisdom and light, but it is hidden and difficult to find. The eucalyptus tree, love revealed. The quince tree, fruitfulness. I'm getting stuck by the wealth part here, that you know, when you're doing a divinatory deck, why would you not make wealth material wealth as well? You know, complete harmony and the oneness of the universe attracts love in romance, family, and acquaintances. It doesn't say anything about attracting actual material wealth. Weird. I'm going to set that one aside because I want to look it up. Okay, quince, fruitfulness. The strawberry tree, rare gifts. When seeds fall, they return home to their true essence. Your true essence brings return and the reintegration of spirit to spirit. Strawberry tree. Is there such a thing as a strawberry tree? The cherry tree, vulnerability. Speaking of cherry trees, I have 2 containers full of cherry seeds. Some of them are Rainier cherries, the yellow ones. Oh, the best. And the other ones are Bing cherries, and I'm I've saved them over the summer. I saved all of my cherry seeds because I want to do something with them, like spell kits or something, and I'm not sure what to do with them. If you have any ideas, let me know. The magnolia tree surprises. One of the things I want to do is plant cherry trees. The juniper tree, security. The larch, good news. The elder, protection. The Judas tree, seduction. Wouldn't that be the apple tree? I would think the apple tree would be the seduction, but maybe not. Okay. And now we have another tree of life, the date tree, a granted wish. I'm interested that these don't seem to be in like any kind of order, alphabetical or anything. I'm curious about why the tree of life ones are sort of dispersed throughout rather than in a group. A granted wish. The fig tree, also a tree of life, enlightening love. The pine tree, eternal love. Yep, evergreen. The light of love cannot be extinguished from the heart or soul because the light is eternal. And you could read it two ways. The light of love from the heart or soul cannot be extinguished because the light is eternal. Interesting. The almond tree is a windfall. That is not a tree of life. The orange tree, communication. The lime tree, happiness. The poplar tree, duplicity. The leaves in the corners here are collaged with writing on them. Come on. Oh, come on, do it. See how shaky my hands are. It says, during a long, supported by the Army, Air Force, something Berg, the interesting choice there. Duplicity. Once the letting freight stand southern angle. I don't know. Why the choice to have writing on them and talking about Army and Air Force? Very weird. Cypress tree is equilibrium. The laburnum tree, prosperity. The elm tree, faith. Mimosa tree, fulfillment. The sweet chestnut tree is growth. The mulberry tree, insight. The walnut tree, resilience. Mahogany, confidence. Peach, pleasure. I'll say hazelnut is good luck. The yew is renewal. The alder is a challenge. Wait, let me see. Did any of these have tree of life? No, they didn't. All right. Alder tree is a challenge. The hawthorn, transformation. The ginkgo is joy. The teak, superiority. Maple, acclaim. Tulip tree, adaptability, which is also a poplar. And the monkey puzzle tree, a solution. Okay, so tree of heaven. First of all, I want to find out if that is an actual tree, because it would seem that all the rest of them are actual trees. You know, we don't have like Yggdrasil or, you know, mythological trees here. Okay. So in the book, we have the introduction, the true magic of trees, laying the cards, the messages, index of tree names, and acknowledgments. Okay. The past, present, and future dwell in tree magic just as they do in trees. As intermediaries between heaven and earth. And yes, the tree of life, you know, there is that symbology with trees from for the roots that go down deep and then the branches that reach up to heaven. They are seen as the bridge between heaven and earth. As intermediaries between heaven and earth, trees are able to convey messages to and from both realms. The tree magic cards touch the subconscious, making it possible to grasp the seeds of the future. The unfurling of leaves and multiplying branches that reach skyward are symbolic of continuing life and inspiration. The divine fruit of the tree is the gift of enlightenment. Like a tree, the cards in this book are of mystical significance. They will help and enhance your own natural psychic understanding, making it very easy to progress onward and upward towards peace of mind and to attain practical success in the physical world. Like a tree, this book and cards offer strength, security, and comfort. They respond to life's problems from beginning to end, whatever your situation. And then she talks about tree worship. And, okay, let me see if she talks about the trees of life. She does. So let's go here. In days gone by, people recognized that their survival depended on trees. They worshipped them to show their respect, believing them to have special connection with God. They attributed certain trees to particular virtues. The oak tree, for instance, was a sign of strength because of its stature and great age. Yeah, and also because it's so goddamn hard. Carrying an acorn as an amulet symbolized carrying the strength of an oak. People prayed beneath the oak with their backs to the trunk or their arms around it so that the tree could impart to them its strength. Hug a tree. Us tree huggers know about that. The rituals and virtues attributed to trees often derive from their personalities and physical characteristics, as with plants as well. The oak is associated with strength because of its vigor even in old age, and the rowan with attraction and romance, its red berries symbolizing the color of life. A tree, however, has a multitude of virtues. The rowan, for instance, also represents healing and protection because the tree's clusters of red berries look like droplets of blood. A healing prayer would be said to the rowan to ask it to absorb sickness from a patient. Interesting. Trees have been revered by numerous cultures worldwide because they can live for more than 1,000 years and some for 3,000 or 4,000 years. Among them are the fig, cedar, ginkgo, pine, cypress, monkey puzzle, yew, oak, sweet chestnut, lime, olive, baobab, kauri, redwood, totara, and welwitschia. And so those last four are not in the deck. In different cultures, certain trees were worshipped for their special wisdom for expressing all life and knowledge. 5 trees, the date, fig, cedar, ash, and baobab, were acknowledged as trees of life. The tree of life is a symbol of evolution or of the growth of an idea, vocation, or a force, as well as a representation of life, energy, strength, abundance, generosity, permanence, and immortality. It's believed that the knowledge contained in the tree of life, once discovered, would confer immortality, yet to discover it would not be easy. So were there only 5 that were tree of life? It seemed like there were more. 1, 2, 3. You know, I could just go through the book and see 4, 5. Okay. I guess that's it. They're just the 5. All right. So again, which ones were those? Those were the date, fig, cedar, ash, and baobab. All right. If I asked you if you ever worshipped a tree, you would probably answer no. Yet without knowing it, you probably have a Christmas tree. You probably have at Christmas time. Pine trees lit up and decorated as Christmas trees go back to tree worship. Indeed they do. Candles were lit on the pine tree at the winter solstice on December 21st to welcome the return of the sun and increasing daylight hours. Being evergreen, the pine bore the same continuity as the sun. Like the sun, it did not die in winter. When pine is burned, its flame is pure white, a symbol of purity and light. The Yule log is traditionally pine, and even chocolate Yule log cakes relate to tree worship because both the tree and the Yule log are tokens of coming spring. Okay. Magical omens and superstitions. Ooh. This is worth looking at. The apple tree. 1 apple left on a tree is an omen of death. To discover the initial of the name of the person you will marry, peel an apple so the peel is complete and unbroken. Throw the peel over your shoulder. If it forms a letter, it's the initial of the name of your future husband. There's also the thing with the stem that you do, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, and whatever letter the stem breaks off on is the letter of your future spouse. Tie a ribbon to a poplar tree to represent a problem you would like to be solved. Leave the ribbon there. The poplar is said to help solve the problem. When the problem has gone, remove the ribbon. The oak tree, carrying an acorn, will imbue you with strength, luck, and youthfulness. To keep your lover true, place 2 stones inside a hollow oak tree. Remove the stones if you decide to end the relationship. So I assume one of those stones represents each of you, and you put it in the oak so it will be long-lasting and strong. To improve a person's health, place 1 stone inside a hollow oak tree. Place 1 stone, so that's just for you. Holly. A sprig of holly indoors protects against evil, except if you're pagan. Make sure that all the live holly is out of your house after Yule, because then it's bad luck. Juniper. It's said that juniper is able to grant wishes. Hold 4 sprigs growing from a juniper tree, one between each thumb and finger of your left hand. Close your eyes and wish. Also know that there's true juniper and then there's not true juniper. And you have to make sure it's true juniper. If you're going to like tincture the berries or something, make sure you are actually getting them from a true juniper tree. Okay, tree dreams and omens. To dream of an almond tree is a sign you will travel unexpectedly and far. To dream of an apple tree is a sign of happiness and love. Peach tree is a prediction of financial or material gains. Fig tree is an omen of prosperity and the realization of your wishes. Hazelnut predicts wealth as well as unexpected good fortune. To dream of an oak tree is a sign of coming wealth and good health. To catch a falling leaf is a sign that you will be lucky. To have a bare twig fall on you is a sign that you will fall out of favor with someone you know. The first blossom of spring that you see is a lucky sign that should be wished upon. Interesting. Reading your fortune by the trees around you. Then there's tree divination. Talking about shapes in bark. Very interesting. If you put your ear to the trunk of a tree, especially a large tree, you will hear a very slow heartbeat. Some trees, such as the damson, have different sexes because male and female flowers are born on separate trees. Yes. Sharp-pointed trees emit the male masculinity. They symbolize widespread open trees emit feminine receptivity and gentleness. Very interesting. Every tree has an aura. These are the tree fairies. Very interesting stuff. And then we have laying the cards. There are 7 power cards in the deck, which have special significance in readings. 2 are the leaders of each suit. I didn't know there were suits. How do you know? Okay. 52 tree magic cards, which represent 52-week cycle of a tree's growth. The unique spirit of each tree is articulated in each card. The cards are divided into 2 suits, the heaven suit and the earth suit. Heaven cards show what is in the air and what you may aspire to. The earth cards, rooted in the earth, reveal your basis or foundation. Yet, as in life, the influences of heaven and earth combine and interchange. Gaze at a mirror image of a tree in a pond or lake, and the roots and branches begin to look the same, showing a visual connection exists between heaven and earth, or earth and heaven. Okay, now, more heaven and earth cards. How do you know which is which? Okay, I think I see how. I think that the heaven cards have the verses no, and that's wrong. Okay, darling, how do I know what suit it is? The ratio of the 2 suits. More heaven cards in a spread than earth cards signify you will get what you want quickly. How do I tell? Tree of Life spread. To see the wood for the trees. The heaven and earth spread, yes or no. The wishing tree spread. The treetop answer spread. The tree of destiny spread. The 5 answers spread. The autumn leaves spread. The singing tree spread. Philosopher's tree spread. The clearing in the woods. The tree of truth spread. The messages. All right. So the heaven trees go from 1 through, one imagines 26, the earth trees. Okay, so 1 through 26 are the heaven trees, 27 through 52 are the earth trees. All right. Each and every one of us is said to contain a seed of omniscience or all-knowing. The messages will help your seed of omniscience to grow so that your own life may become a true tree of life. Okay, so let's look at these 2 that I pulled out, 16 and 21. The strawberry tree. I want to find out What's up with that? Or arbutus predicts great happiness that may arrive in a rare way. 2 great events could occur. The red strawberry-style fruits that appear on the tree at the same time as the white bell-like blossoms. So there is, that is a real tree. That's all I really wanted to know. Pomegranate tree. What did I want to know about that? Complete harmony. Oh, because it's talking about wealth. Every pomegranate is said to contain 1 seed from paradise because it's believed that to be the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. Really? Not the apple. A seed of happiness and divine goodness is being sown in your life. The pomegranate providing fruit and herbal remedies also indicates fertility. It is a sign that your happiness will grow and your health will be vigorous. Its flame red blossom denotes marriage and love, predicting success in a meaningful love affair. Financial richness, now we get to the wealth part. Financial richness is forecast too because a severed pomegranate reveals a wealth of red seeds, symbolizing generosity. The sun will shine on you as it must upon the pomegranate tree. Okay, so she does talk about financial wealth. Let's get to a reading. Oh, I did not like my charcoal. So I bought new charcoal because I ran out of my box, and I buy it by the box rather than by the roll because I go through them so fast. This time I bought Woodbine brand. They break very easily. It makes me happy, so I'm not like and shattering them and sending things. It just takes a very little to break the charcoals. So plug for Woodbine charcoals, and they're cheaper than the other ones too. They might not burn as long. That I haven't tested, but it's okay because I don't need them to burn forever. All right, as we're waiting for that, these don't shuffle so easy. I guess they do if you're more careful with them. All right, let's third time through. Oh, okay, done that way. Let's reach out to our allies and ancestors, guides and guardians. We invite and invoke your presence here today to bring us your wisdom and your messages. Please let this humble reader not trip over her tongue. Please let her ears be open to hear the messages that her viewers need to hear. And I offer you this. You see how my hand starts shaking when I go to turn my wrist? I offer you fresh water. I offer you salt water. And take a little bit here. I offer you the fire of Azrael. I offer you air and fire. I offer you water and earth. So mote it be as I splash things on my cloth. Oh, they start a-flying. All right, please give me 3 cards. Oh, we got 2 there. All right, so that would have been off the top there. 1 more, please, to tell us today what we need to hear, how we can thrive today, how we can be our best possible selves on the day that each one of us is experiencing this reading. Gosh, it feels so good to just be sitting up and not, collapsing. I'm very hopeful. All right, let's just take 1 more here. So we have duplicity in the middle. And then we have equilibrium and pleasure. This one came up. I'm thinking I want to do this. So here I am manipulating the cards. Drives me crazy when people want to manipulate the cards, but I'm fucking doing it. Okay, so there you go. Because they landed straight up, and if I just did it 1, 2, 3, that's the way they would go from the top. All right. So we start off with duplicity, duality and duplicity, suffering and bitterness, enlightenment and happiness are at play. Enlightenment and happiness. Okay, so duplicity to me would be like suffering and happiness. Bittering, enlightenment, not, suffering and bitterness together, enlightenment and happiness. I guess the suffering and bitterness are one side, enlightenment and happiness are the other side, duplicity. So So I guess, this is where we have to really look at and acknowledge the two sides of things that are going on here. If we find that we're more in the suffering and bitterness part, then we need to acknowledge the lessons that are there to take us towards enlightenment and the happiness that we have in other parts of our lives. Let's look it up. This would not be one. This is one of the cards of Earth. And we have all cards of Earth. Interesting. Positive and negative influences are symbolized by the poplar leaf. On the underside, it is bright green or white. The top side of the leaf is darker green. You may have to perform a similar balancing act, like the leaves on long, slim, flattened stalks dancing at the wind's command. Like the posture of the poplar, your situation may appear ungainly. But like this tree, your roots can spread far and wide. As male and female flowers are born of separate trees, meeting someone of the opposite sex is predicted. By attraction, love and good news will wing their way to you out of the blue, just as the female poplar casts her seeds on fluffy white tufts to the wind. Okay. So we're talking about a balancing act between two opposite sides. We're talking about the other, possibly attracting the other. Boy, as I'm sitting here, it's getting darker and grayer. We got shit tons of rain on the way. Slim, flattened stalks, dancing at the wind's command. Your situation may appear ungainly. So she really is talking. I have to say the message isn't all that clear. There's kind of like different chunks of things. And I don't feel like her writing is giving me a clear message. Love and good news will wing their way to you out of the blue by attraction, just as the female poplar casts her seeds. All right, duplicity. Okay, let's just go with an intuition here. We're looking at, we have been really torn apart through this pandemic and this holiday season, And, all right, hold on, I got something in my eye. So we have to come to terms with that, with our, wanting to feel joyful through the holiday, for generating as much joy as we can in every day while we are stressed and grieving and, freaking out and everything else. So this is where we're starting from, is the duplicity. Then we move to equilibrium. So there is a progression here. And equilibrium, this is the very next card. So they didn't get shuffled all that well. Good people will be singing your praises. This is Cypress. And helping to build your life, because the imperishable and immortal Cypress was worshipped as Diana, goddess of nature. Okay, good people will be singing your praises because the cypress was worshipped. How you shape your future offers as many choices as the cypress tree. The only difference between species is the size of the cones, which symbolize psychic wholeness. The minute, scaly, twig-hugging leaves that replace the cypress needles symbolize help from the outside, such as friends and family. Used to build ships and burn in fire worship, the cypress heralds travel toward a bright new dawn. Your ship is coming in. Okay, so there's like prosperity. So equilibrium, it says, when opportunity is greeted with enthusiasm, success increases naturally. Again, I'm kind of having trouble matching her written meanings with the keyword equilibrium. Equilibrium, I think, would be, you're trying to find, again, that balance point between opposites. Equilibrium means a coming to terms with those things. But she's talking about like your ship coming in and health. I mean, equilibrium, yes, health. And people like singing your praises. And then she talks a lot about the tree. Okay, so again, intuitively, we have duplicity, where we're kind of pulled apart by the opposites, and looking externally to attract the opposite attract what we feel we lack, and then we hit this equilibrium where we find that we're in balance within ourselves, that we have both sides of things within ourselves, and we can find that balance point and that almost resting point of not getting pulled apart anymore. Then we have peach tree, pleasure. The peach tree is symbol of eternal. Let me read the verse. When the fruit falls to return to the earth, it is sweet and soft. So will it be for you. That's nice. The peach tree is symbol of eternal youth and wealth, forecasts great emotional happiness and financial riches for you. So here now is where we get the financial riches. It's pleasures. Fruits of past labors are ripe and ready to pick before they spoil. See, now there's a clear message. Things are ripe. It's time to take advantage and take the opportunity, of something that is ready to go right now. Because the peach expresses the birth of ideas, something begun in the spring when the delicate blossoms appear could come to fruition in the fall. Now, where did the ideas come from? It doesn't say anything on the card here or the keyword pleasure about ideas. The oval leaves pointed with notched edges symbolize taking small steps to achieve an aim. Past failure should not deter you. Your success is in rising anew as the peach tree grows again from fallen fruit, as does every tree. This tree predicts all sweet gifts, enjoyment, luxury, and happiness for you. But she brings in so many other things, past failure, failure and success, and ideas, and going step by step with things. Her writing seems to not be really focused on a single concept with each card, and that makes it confusing. So I would say with this deck, and if I look at it from there, it's like when we come from duplicity and thinking that here's what I have and here's what you have and I lack that, and getting pulled apart that way. When we come to equilibrium and knowing that I have everything available inside of me, I just need to acknowledge both sides. And if I'm feeling more one way, I need to nurture this side to bring things into equilibrium and balance. Then once we do those things, then there is the pleasure of things ripening. And it also talks about when we come to equilibrium, just really being able to rest in that for the time being and feel the pleasure of that moment of balance. And moment it is, because the next moment we're off and into duplicity again. But this is the dynamic of it. We are constantly going from that yanked apart and bringing things back to equilibrium, yanked apart, back to equilibrium. It's that, we want a seesaw effect, the ups and downs, the flow of life. And so while we're going through this and finding that balance point, we remember to take pleasure, and we remember to acknowledge that, I'm in that resting point and that balance point right now. Take our pleasure in it. And also to, really look around and acknowledge what is before us, what has ripened, what is available to us now that is the fruit of the labors and the things that I've done, and taking pleasure in our own success as we take part in those fruits. Okay. So that's what I get. And I'm thinking, if you're going to do this deck, and, I love trees. I love focus decks like this, trees and rocks and stuff like that. I think you really have to go intuitively, or do your own thing. I mean, it's just, if you go straight up for her messages, they seem to be kind of all over the place. But if I just look at the words, I can get a message from them. So there you go. What do you think? I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know what other tree decks are out there. The Celtic Tree Oracle. Actually, I might link that deck at the end rather than Jillian Kemp's decks. Because her decks, I have issues with meanings in some of her decks. She seems to be a really nice artist, but the meanings are kind of wonky. Anyhow, I hope you got something out of that. I hope you're having a marvelous day. I hope you are healthy and staying safe, and that you're also recovering from this giant water stress we've been under for so long. And if you're not actively recovering, I hope you are caring for yourself and resting. I really hope you are. I will see you next time for another unboxing or a live stream. Please click the like button so more people can get in on these videos, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with people that you think might also be digging it. Please send me a donation. I really value your support. It's what I have, so I appreciate your donations. You can send me a gift deck from my Amazon wish list, and I will give you a reading from that. Also, hit the notification button, because I do live streams kind of randomly, and you want to know when those are coming up. I try to schedule them as much in advance as I can, so you know that they're coming and you get that notification and you can plan your time. When you do, and you can join my Discord. Not really doing much with that right now, except with Patreon. Please join my Patreon. I am getting ready to deliver my second installment of my deep dive Be Your Own Astrologer instruction video, and that's going to drop like at the beginning of January. So you want to get in on that at the priestess level of my Patreon. I really appreciate all your support, you guys. Your donations fund this work and keep me from having to do things that I can't do right now. So anyhow, take care. It's really good being back with you, feeling like I'm, going on all pistons here. I'll see you next time. Until then, this is Luna, the Zen Witch. I love you guys. Blessed be.